The area known as the Great Glen is a giant fault line that runs the breadth of the Scottish Highlands, from Inverness in the east to Fort William in the west. The Great Glen is surrounded by some of the most breathtaking scenery in Europe, from rivers, waterfalls and lochs to mountains, glens and forests. The area is rich in history, from ancient standing stones and battlefields to the turbulent times of the Jacobite rebellions and Bonnie Prince Charlie. And of course, running the length of the Great Glen is the Caledonian Canal. The canal was opened in 1822 and was designed by Thomas Telford. Originally constructed as a shortcut between the North Sea and the Atlantic Ocean, the canal is an incredible feat of engineering. Nowadays, fishing boats and ocean-going yachts still use the canal, but today's traffic is mostly cruisers. The canal is 60 miles long, 38 of which are within Loch Ness, Loch and Loch Lochy. Along the rest of the way, you will pass bridges and go through lochs, both of which are operated by friendly keepers, making them easy to navigate. There are some excellent moorings, berths and jetties along the way for you to stop at, go ashore and explore the local area. There are picturesque highland villages, visitor centres and attractions, activity providers, historic monuments, wonderful walks and a fine selection of quality restaurants, making the Great Glen and the Caledonian Canal an ideal location for a family holiday. At the north end of the Great Glen, the canal begins at Muirton Locks at Inverness. Inverness is the capital of the Highlands. The origins of the city date back to Pictish times. The city is situated at the mouth of the River Ness, which flows out into the Murray Firth. Inverness Castle, which is now a courthouse, sits proudly atop the crag in the centre of the city that boasts some fine shopping and a wide selection of pubs and restaurants. Just outside Inverness is located Culloden Battlefield, the site of the last battle fought on British soil, where the Jacobite army under the command of Bonnie Prince Charlie lost to the Hanoverian army led by the Duke of Cumberland, ending the hopes of the young prince who wished to restore his father, the exiled James, to the throne of Great Britain. Travelling along the canal, the first loch you encounter is the world-famous Loch Ness. Loch Ness is 23 miles long and over 700 feet deep. It contains more water than all the rivers and lakes in England and Wales combined. The legend of the monster, or Nessie as the locals affectionately know her, began when St. Columba witnessed a serpent-like creature attacking one of his monks back in the 6th century. The legend is incredible, but so are the amounts of sightings, so make sure to keep your eyes peeled. Urquhart Bay Harbour is located on the north side of Loch Ness and provides an ideal berthing point to explore the nearby village of Drumnadrochid. The village boasts some excellent visitor attractions dedicated to Nessie, and of course the loch, some fine coffee shops and restaurants, access to lovely walks and some of the best pony trekking in the country. Urquhart Castle overlooks the mouth of the bay. This romantic ruin is steeped in history and was once held by Robert the Bruce during his long campaign for independence. Make sure you visit the new exhibition centre to find out more. On the south side of Loch Ness is the village of Foyers, with its splendid waterfall, the Falls of Foyers, made famous by Robert Burns, who visited the area over 200 years ago. At the south end of Loch Ness is Fort Augustus, one of the most picturesque stops along the canal and another ideal place to berth and go ashore. As its name suggests, Fort Augustus is associated with Scotland's martial past, but a Benedictine abbey now sits on the location of the old fort that was blown up by Bonnie Prince Charlie's Jacobites. Fort Augustus has some great museums, attractions and eateries. One of the village's most famous features is the loch system, which lies at the heart of Fort Augustus. Travelling on past Fort Augustus, you will cruise through some incredible scenery and on towards Loch. The wooded shores are great to explore, and there is a lovely country house complete with its own jetty that makes an ideal location for afternoon tea or an evening meal. Be sure and stop off at the water park on the banks of Loch to sample the many activities they have to offer, including whitewater rafting. At the south side of Loch you will pass through Lagan Lochs, complete with floating restaurant, and on to Loch Lochy. You'll find some excellent restaurants close to the shore. Travelling along Loch Lochy, you will notice Ben Nevis, the UK's highest mountain, standing over 4,000 feet above sea level. If the weather is clear, the views from Loch Lochy can be quite majestic. At the southern end of the Great Glen, the Caledonian Canal ends at Benavie. This is the cruising limit for most boats. You can watch the yachts and fishing boats descend the 8 flights of lochs known as Neptune's Staircase into Loch Lynny and beyond. Benavie is situated just next to Fort William. The nearby Glen Nevis is the route to take for those wanting to climb Ben Nevis. You can hire bikes in Fort William, visit distilleries, or even take a trip on the famous Jacobite steam train to the lake. With so much variety, the Great Glen and the Caledonian Canal are the perfect place for an amazing holiday.